What's up, everybody? Kiefer here. I just finished recording episode 2 of the podcast. I took some phone calls. My sister called in live by chance, which was really funny, and she left me a very special message. It's been great. I guess the thing that I wanted to say is I'm extremely happy. This is exactly what I want to be doing. I feel very passionate about this already, and I think we can make this really special. But in order for that to happen, I need you guys. I really need your support. Please leave a comment. I also have a phone number you can call now if you want to leave a voicemail, and that phone number is 323-325-1650. Again, that is 323-325-1650. Please leave me a message. What's going to make this podcast work is you guys. If you guys are involved and interacting with me and telling me what you think can make this better, and also leaving me your questions and thoughts and stuff, then we can make this a really special, awesome piece of art in the form of podcasting that has not been done yet. I really want to have an amazing functioning community. So if you're watching this right now, that means you are at the ground floor. There's not some pre-existing audience that you are not a part of. No, you are a part of it. In fact, you are it. So this will be shaped by you. So please reach out, send me a message, leave a comment below, and of course, tell your friends. If you have friends who are also aspiring musicians and you think that the stuff we talk about could be helpful to them, please let them know that this exists. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys. Please enjoy episode 2. Be encouraged, and we'll talk soon. Peace. Hell yeah. We're in there. Good morning. Episode 2 of the new installment of Approachable Music. I'm your host and guest and producer, Kiefer. First sip of the day. Welcome. We dropped the first episode like yesterday, and to be honest, it's been really fun. I'm really excited about it. It seems that my audience is into it, and dude, I'm totally I haven't been this excited about something new in a while. This is like really, really great. So got up this morning and just immediately, just fired up another episode. I got my to-do list right here. I got my coffee. I love that this is called Approachable Music because the abbreviation is AM. This is the AM podcast, man. You know, it's first thing in the morning for me. I hope it's first thing in the morning for you. I think that would be a perfect use of this podcast, since I tend to talk about, art, productivity, and just being an artist. And I think it's a good thing to listen to when you're getting ready in the morning, or maybe commuting to work or whatever. So this is the AM podcast. Hell yeah. Dude, I wanted to start off today by just shouting out my friends. I sent this out to some friends in the 24 hours before I dropped episode 1, and I got some really good feedback. So shout out to the people I sent this to. That was super, super helpful. Man, you gotta surround yourself with good people. I know that that's a cliche, but that is something I believe wholeheartedly. It's something I think about all the time. Gotta have good friends around you. It's a privilege to have good friends around you. It's definitely something that I think about a lot. Your friends are kind of everything, dude. Like the way humans evolved. Oh, here we go. Oh, welcome back. See, this is, this is how I talk. I just jump immediately to some philosophical thing, but here we go. Something that I know very little about, but here we go. But no, the way humans evolved, we are nomadic peoples. For hundreds of thousands of years, we were running hundreds of miles a week and a month or whatever. I think hundreds of miles a month is probably more like it. That's why we're upright, because it helps us stay cooler. Because we would run super far to get to food. And you run as fast as your tribe, dude. You run as fast as your tribe. If you're in a tribe that has a high work ethic and runs really fast, you're going to have no choice but to run as fast as them, because back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean hundreds of thousands of years ago, if you weren't running with the tribe and you fell behind, you would perish away. That's a little morbid, but it's true. That's how that would work. So, number one, surround yourself with good people and try to keep up with them. Again, that's the only number. Usually when you say number one before you make a point, usually there's more to follow. But in that case, that was it. I was just like saying number one in that case. Yeah, man. You gotta be in a good tribe. And then also something else I've learned, you also want to be in a tribe that is, you want to surround yourself with people who, are happy, that have good energy. I mean, these are all cliches that we all know. I know this is not like an innovative idea at all, but I'm just putting another piece of straw on the camel's back. Dude, when I was a kid, I thought the straw that broke the camel's back meant like literal straws that you like sip drinks out of. And I always thought the expression was weird, because why are we putting straws onto a camel's back? And then, dude, I was 28 when I realized that means like straw, because camels might transport. It doesn't matter. Why am I doing this? Okay. We don't need to know that. I was talking about motivation yesterday, and when I was listening back to the podcast to make sure that I didn't say anything crazy, I did want to correct this, because the way I was talking about motivation, I left out a really important point. And I just want to just introduce this idea to people, see if it works. Because I was saying motivation isn't about motor, right? Like that they both have that root word in common. Motivate. I don't know what that, I got to look it up, but whatever. I think it's about, it's not, sometimes motivation isn't about like a force thing, a doing thing, as much as it's about eliminating stress around the thing. That's my whole philosophy. And I just wanted to throw in that correction. And I can get into that later. I know it's going to come up, but really to me, the key to like productivity surrounds eliminating anxiety around the thing. Because there's two forces that make you do something. There's the desire to actually do it, which is fundamental and simple. And then there's this less simple thing that these layers and layers and layers, layers and layers and layers of anxious thoughts we attach to the thing, the negative force, the anxiety that makes us not want to engage with things that we fundamentally enjoy, things like making music and becoming good at it. Who wouldn't want to do that all the time? Well, it turns out almost all of us, because we're all anxious in some way. So I didn't really explain that yesterday, so I just wanted to fix that. Anyway, oh man, it's a nice day. It's going to be hot. I can tell. You can tell, man, when it's hot at 8:30, we're screwed. LA is, here's a story. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I was 18 years old. I was going to UCLA, and just graduated high school. I had, by the way, raging panic disorder. I had a really intense experience with anxiety that spanned over 2 years, I would say. And basically every single day I was having panic attacks. And I was on the verge of one virtually all day long. So if you know the feeling of like when you're about to have a panic attack and you start feeling like you can't breathe and you're like just barely can't get a full breath of air, I was in that state for 2 years straight. Promise you, like, I would get a full breath once every couple of weeks. I'm serious. It was wild. So sidebar, if you're struggling with that, it really, one day, it might go away, dude. You never know. So that's what happened to me. I had it for 2 years. I thought I was going to be like that forever, which then in turn made me depressed. Anyways, the point is, anxiety is a long road, and if you're struggling with it, I wish all the best to you. And also, I want to say that it might go away someday. So just, keep working on it. Don't ever give up. I wanted to give up for a little while there. I didn't feel like I could do it. And you know what? I just went to therapy. I just showed up and I worked on it really hard. And then one day it turned out the key to me getting better was actually to not work on it. But that's just me. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm only an expert of my own experience. Why am I telling this story? Right. So, not to be facetious, because I think that's an important thing to say there. But anyway, so I had really bad panic disorder, and then I remember I started UCLA. I remember unpacking everything in my room, in my dorm room, and everything was so overwhelming. There was 110 people that lived on my floor. They were all great. I made so many friends, but those first couple of weeks, I was so nervous, dude. Leaving my room freaked me out. So I kind of developed agoraphobia as well, which is basically the fear of leaving your room. So I would just stay in my room all the time. And then I remember the first day of school was the hottest day in the history of LA, and I don't think it's been topped yet. It was unbelievable, dude. It was 117 degrees. That was measured on campus. And I just remember first day of school for a kid with panic disorder, and I'm walking through. Dude, I had such bad anxiety that I remember going to the dining hall and just facing. I remember freaking out about which way I would face when I sat down at a table. I was like, if I face the light, that might be too bright, and I'm gonna panic. Or if I sit facing this way, I'm gonna be facing this girl 3 tables over who I have a crush on, and that's gonna freak me out. I'm gonna start panicking. That's how fragile I was at that point. So I remember going outside, I already feel like I can't breathe. Now it's 117. It's a sauna outside, literally. Dude, that was crazy. And there was something kind of beautiful about that story, which I think is, what is it? I think is just, I don't know. It felt intense. I liked the intensity of it. So even while it was making me very anxious, I did like that I was in this world that felt intense to me. I was at a huge new school. I was nervous, and then it was just really, I don't know, it was really hot. And something about that I liked. I liked being in a completely different, that was the interesting thing about my experience with anxiety, is that even while it was happening, and I was not necessarily happy day to day, but also if you asked me then if I liked school, I really loved it because I just liked being in a new environment. I liked being in a place that was really intense and different. And I loved being in music school, dude. Oh my God, I loved music school so much, especially when I first got there. It felt like I was at Hogwarts. I felt like, even though our program wasn't even that great, and I honestly didn't like the program, I just liked being around other musicians. That's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted, dude. I just wanted to be around other musicians. People that thought like me, people that liked the same things as me, people that didn't want to live the same life as their friends either, which is something I didn't want to do. And I just liked that they were like me. It felt like I was meeting, versions of myself, We were all, versions of each other. We had a lot in common. That felt so good. Man. I remember I had this class called M10. There was 110 of us. It was every kind of music major. We all had to take the same class, like classical majors, jazz majors, music history majors, all of us, all in one room. And I just remember looking around at everyone and just being like, wow, like, these people all decided to risk their careers just like me, for something they love. That was my tribe at that time. And for the first time ever, see, that's what music school really does. Everyone's always like, should I go to music school? Should I not go to music school? And what I always remind people is that, music school is not really the place where you're going to learn the most about music. I don't think that that's true. I think I've learned more about music since music school, and not just because it's been, 10 years since, and music school was only 4 years. Not because it's just been more time. I'm saying like the per day learning speed post school for me has been faster. That said, the speed at which I was learning music before school was very low, and music school was great because it was the first time I was surrounded by other musicians. My tribe changed, dude. My community changed. Suddenly, instead of being, my tribe back home, which is a tribe that I love to this day, that's still my tribe, but it's a different kind of tribe. I'm in multiple tribes, dude. This tribe from back home was like, that's love. That's that tribe was, people who weren't musicians necessarily, didn't directly help my career, but that's love. That's my family, dude. My family and my friends from high school, I also consider them family as well. But I needed a tribe of musicians. I needed that, and going to music school is a great way to get in that first larger tribe where, like, I was surrounded by, 30 other jazz musicians in this case at UCLA. Shout out UCLA. I really loved my time there. Very thankful for it. Okay. I want to answer some questions. I've been talking for about 15 minutes, it looks like, maybe longer. So I'm going to put a number across the screen on the bottom here. What is the phone number? I got to know what my phone number is so I can say it. Let me look it up really quick. I got a phone number for this. Here we go. All right. So if I just go to settings, it'll say my phone number is 323-325-1650. That's 323-325-1650. And you can record a voicemail for me. All you have to do is say your name and where you're calling from. Leave a voicemail, leave a question, and I might answer it. And so let's get started. I loaded a few of these in here, and I'm just going to hit play. Let's see what we get. Here's our first voicemail. Go ahead.
Hey, peace, Kiefer. My name is Kareem, and I'm from Philadelphia. Huge fan. My only question is just, how did you come up with your dope sound that you have in your albums? I love your sound, and every album has just been consistently amazing. So it's just like, how did you go from playing the piano to coming up with, the instruments that you use along with your, with your piano skills?
Word up.
So that's really it. All right, peace.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Kareem. That's Kareem from Philly. Appreciate the compliments that were mixed in there. So yeah, how to come up with your sound, how to go from playing piano to having a sound. Yeah, I think so many different things. The first thing I'm going to say is I think that we all have the ability to have a unique sound, and all we have to do is just play what we like. and play it the way that we like it. So let me explain that, because I think some people might think that that's oversimplified, but I really don't think that it is. I'm basing this off of the experience of having taught, well over 1,000 different students from 2015 to about 2021. And what I discovered, what I ask every single student is, what do you like? That's like the first thing I ask every single one. What kind of music do you like? And what are you trying to make? And how can I help you? I always ask them those 3 questions. But what music do you like? What do you listen to? And every single person has had a different answer. If I said, give me 5, your top 5, no one's ever had the same top 5. Ever. The odds of that are just so slim. Even if there's a segment of the population that comes to my lessons, and let's say there really is like a similar top 10, maybe you might expect people that there's like a fuzz in my eyeball. It's driving me nuts. Sorry. This is a stream of consciousness podcast, so there might be interruptions. No. Even if you might expect somebody that takes lessons from me to like Robert Glasper. You might expect them to like Hiatus Coyote or Thundercat or Moonchild or, people like that. But even if I did have 2 people with the same top 5, which again has never happened, but even if it did, the way that they like those people is always going to be different. Like someone that likes Robert Glasper might like this one aesthetic, which is indescribable, and they are picking up on a thing that I don't pick up. It could be just like the way he trills a note or like a grace note, or it could be the way that he plays the major 6 chord. I like that about Rob Glasper a lot. I love when he does that. That's like a chord change he does a lot. Some people, it might be the time feel, like it might be whatever. It might be the tone of his records, just like production wise, that they really like. There's so many different things that you can like about one artist. For me, I really like, sometimes I listen to things he plays. It sounds exactly like Mulgrew Miller. Like the specific line that he plays that I really like sometimes. So I think, if you put all those things together, now if you have 5 or 6 favorite artists or whatever, and in my case it's a lot more than 5 or 6. I mean, most people like around 100 different artists, musicians. Is that a crazy thing to say? Okay, 20. Same order of magnitude, 20, 30, 40. We're still talking about a lot. Maybe 100. Yeah, I'm sure. I think most of us like probably 100 things. I think that's a very fair guess, honestly. Man, if you put together a little bit of each of those things, if you really just become an expert in what you like, you will have a unique sound. And then the next thing I'll follow up with that is, do not underestimate what that means. Do not underestimate what it means to be an expert in what you love. I think some people think being an expert in what you love would mean, knowing a good amount about music. No, it's being an expert. You should be a master. You got to know your stuff inside and out. If I had a piano right here, I could play so many Herbie tunes off rip. I could play George Duke tunes off rip. I could play this Lewis Taylor song that I like off rip. I could play Wayne Shorter. I could play standards. I could play Dilla. I could play Madlib. I could play, and of each of those, I'm talking dozens of things, right? Not bragging. I'm trying to make my point. The point being, I believe, and I've proven my belief in this by actually doing it. You've got to become an expert in the things that you like, that you love. Be an expert in the things that you love. If you love Stevie Wonder and you don't know how to play a single tune, you got to do that, right? So that's something I just tell my students. If you want to have a unique sound, that's the thing. So I think, to answer your question, Kareem, thanks for the question, by the way. Shout out Philly. yeah, I think I just became an expert in things that I like, that I love, and I continue to do that. I just continue expanding on that. And I think, again, the things that I love might be, might be kind of generic in a certain sense, right? There's millions of people that love Jay Dilla's music. There's millions of people that love Herbie Hancock's music. And there's thousands of producers that try to sound Dilla, and there's thousands of producers that are thousands of piano players that try to sound like Herbie. But the way that I'm doing those things is what's unique, because I have there's something unique about what I like about them, and I think we're all like that. The things that I like about Dilla are going to be different from everyone else. They might, maybe they're the same headings, like we all love the Dilla time feel, but the aspects of it that I'm hearing is going to be different, just because I'm a human with limited intelligence, with limited, my ears aren't perfect, right? My hands aren't perfect. There's like, me in my limited understanding and really misunderstanding music in my own unique way is what's going to lead me to then interpret it different than the next person. And then if I can just become an expert of my misunderstandings, or rather unique understandings of music, and then create a technique for that, oh man, I'm going to be doing things in a unique way, of course. I think that's natural. I think having a unique sound as a musician is the most natural thing you can do. It's not even an effort thing. I mean, it is an effort thing. It takes a lot of effort, but it's even more than that. It's an allowing thing. You have to allow yourself to do it. And I think the way you allow yourself to do that, become an expert in the things that you love. By the way, that's the answer to every question. I'm going to try to, go a little more specific than that, of course. Otherwise, I would just turn off the camera and say that's the end of the podcast. No, there's a lot more things to talk about. But that's the most important thing. Become an expert in the things that you love. I love certain snare tones. And get specific about it. Don't just become an expert in the things that you love on the broad scale. I'm talking about super zoomed in specifics. I love when a hi-hat is, really cracking at like 5,000 hertz and it's this specific length. It's, no longer than 150 milliseconds or whatever. I'm just making up numbers here, but, I love a straight and late time feel. I was talking about that with Noah the other day. I love certain swing feels when things are around, not that I use the numbers this often, but around 54%. I love that swing feel. 53 to 55 is great. Anything more than that, not my favorite. I don't know why. I love 16th note grooves. I love 4/4 time. I love 4-bar phrases. I love 3-bar phrases. I love 6-bar phrases. These aren't even that specific. I could go so much more specific than that, but you get the point. Okay, I'm going on forever and ever and ever. We get it. Kareem, that's a great question, though. I appreciate the question. And yeah, just continue studying the stuff that you love and ask yourself, the last thing I'll say, hold up. Yeah, ask yourself where you disagree with everybody. That's the last thing I'll say. If you want to have a unique sound, you got to think about where you disagree with everybody. Too often in art, in my opinion, people are trying to make stuff that's agreeable. They're curious what their audience will think, what their peers will think, what their idols will think, and they're trying to make something that they will agree with. But you know what? People don't necessarily want that. Where you're going to be unique is where you disagree with people. All the best artists that I know have unique opinions where they go against the grain and they disagree with people on things. I talk about my homie Heather all the time because he's one of my favorite artists in the world. He understands what it means to be an artist, and not that that's one thing. But he is an extremely disagreeable guy when it comes to art. If you have a conversation with him about art, he will have some opinions that will shock you. talking about, he'll talk about how we strongly dislike certain artists that everybody loves. I disagree with him on everything. I'll be like, man, this person's one of my favorite artists. And he'll be like, I'm not into that at all. Like, he'll be like, nah, there's nothing for me there. I'm like, really? Oh man. Okay. And, even though I like to have a different level of open-mindedness than him, I do admire how opinionated he is. And, because he disagrees and has unique opinions about so many different things, those opinions become your approach, and the approach becomes your sound. If you're not opinionated, it's kind of, I think being opinionated is a big part of being an artist. And you might not be consciously opinionated, but you're going to be subconsciously opinionated. I mean, everything you play is a choice, so there's a lot of opinions are going to go into what, every moment your opinion is reflected in what you play. It's like, in my opinion, this is the best thing for me to play in this moment. That's happening constantly. So then if you're just developing opinions that are unique and, not contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, but just like, think about what your values are. I have so many opinions about music that I think my values are very unique about what makes music great and what can make a good, what makes good art and what makes a good pianist and what makes a good producer. And a lot of the time I'm wrong, for sure. But that's what art is, dude. Art is not the study of it's not about being correct. Art is like the study of like how to be wrong in a new way. There's a Jerry Seinfeld quote, which is good writing in comedy, but it's also true in all kinds of writing. In writing, not only comedy, but writing, if you're writing drama, if you're writing for TV, if you're writing a book, if you're writing a screenplay, if you're writing whatever, and writing music. But what he says, I totally agree with it. Good writing is making an outrageous statement and then prove it to be true. Fantastic. So think about your unique opinions. Think about where you disagree. Music doesn't have to only be that, but that's a big part of it. Think about where you see things a little bit differently and make your point. Prove it. I think about that shit all the time. Sometimes I'll pick a sound on a synth that intentionally sounds bad and try and prove it. I make a drum loop where the snare drum is like really weird. And then it's like, all right, well, let's prove it. Let's create a musical context where this makes perfect sense. And if I can do that, this song is going to be awesome. Because I'm taking an outrageous element and proving it to be making sense. Anyway, those are some things I think about when it comes to developing a sound. Wow, I went for a long time there. Let's do another question. Kareem, that was, I really appreciate you calling in. Hope everything's going great for you out there in Philly. Hope it's not too hot. Yeah, man, just keep growing. Keep practicing. Be encouraged. Let's get to the next voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, this is Joe from Tampa. I appreciate you, big dog. So, I remember you mentioned something way back when, and you were talking in regards to what exactly I can't remember, but you said act like the person you want to be before you're that person. And I know you were talking in regards to music, soul, move, that kind of thing. But I've applied that here recently, and I've got my own way of doing it, but I find my way, my brother's way, my friend's way, everyone's got a different way of applying it. And I'm curious, how do you go about that? The roundabout way to ask you, how do you act like the person you want to be when you know in your head you're not, but you feel like in your heart you should be? I appreciate you, boss. Take care.
Wow, that's a great question. JP from Tampa, is that what he said his name? Joe from Tampa. JP's the other voicemail, which I haven't gotten to yet. But Joe from Tampa. This is a great question because when I heard it this morning, I immediately thought about, well, it's an angle that I haven't thought about really, which is, well, to rephrase the question, because it was a long question, but, something I talk about a lot is acting like the person you aspire to be before you are that person. The results of your behaviors will follow your actions. So therefore you need to act like the person you want to be before the results come in, the results which show that you are that person. But then the way you said, how do you know, how can you act like somebody when you don't feel like that in your heart yet? That kind of took me for a whirl there, because then it kind of implies this idea of like, is that being real? And what I would say is that, okay, well, I think what I'm talking about is like, when I say like we need to change our identity, or we need to act like the identity we aspire to have, or, it doesn't mean like change who you are in the sense of like your soul and your spirit. I don't want you to start, being fake or different, but what we can control is our behaviors. And, I also think about the phrase, you are what you repeatedly do. We are our choices, and what we do control, and what is within us, and what is like what our hearts can do is, we have control over our choices. And I think we should be trying to be the best version of ourselves. Like, it is within ourselves to do things better. And I don't think that's like being fake, or and it might not even be an emotional thing. Like, I remember, your question says like, when you don't feel that way in your heart, how can you act like something before it's like in your heart? Is that real? Is that sincere? And, and by the way, before I go any further, I want to make it clear that I am by no means I don't think of myself as somebody who's mastered any of these ideas. These are just ideas that I'm experimenting with. I love them. They're deep and important to me, very important to me, but I don't want to sit here acting like I've mastered any of this. Or I don't want you guys to even think that I think that about myself, but I still believe them nonetheless. But anyway, yeah, I think maybe it's not an emotional thing. Like, maybe you don't have to like if I, in order to do the right thing, if I'm in a moment where I have two choices and one's the right thing to do and one's not the right thing to do, I'm not going to do the wrong thing just because I don't feel like in my heart I'm capable of doing the right thing, or if I feel in my heart that I'm not the best person or whatever, right? That shouldn't be an emotional decision. In fact, responding that way is kind of an issue that I have, and I don't, sometimes I don't make the right decision because I have low self-esteem. Because I do feel like I'm not the best person, and so what difference does it make if I make another poor choice? I've done that before. I've had that moment. So I don't know if that is totally understanding your question. I think that's what you meant, but I think, or how about this? Just on the topic of belief. Yeah. How do we, start behaving like the person we aspire to be before we believe that we are the thing? How does action precede belief? Which is a very interesting idea. I mean, that's what, dude, this might get really deep really quick, but welcome to my podcast. I think that's what faith is, right? I mean, I'm not a religious person, so I'm not even using that religiously, but that's a human thing, I think, is faith. We trust things before we have proof. We're here on this planet without any understanding of why, or how No one's really been able to explain it. And we have to operate on faith, dude. We choose to trust things all the time. Have some faith in yourself, you know. I mean, that's the next thing I would say. Have some faith in yourself. I think that's how that works, right? And again, this is coming from somebody that does not always do that. So again, I'm not trying to act like I've mastered these ideas, but I believe in them. And I think you have to believe in yourself. I think you've got to make the right choices. Again, even before you have the proof that you are the identity you aspire to have, you got to make those decisions that person would make. I hope I'm making sense here. It's 9 a.m. and I'm going crazy, and I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, check this out. Okay, let me tell a story. Yeah, what we believe about ourselves shapes our decision making, you know? So, you know, because, for example, if I didn't believe it was possible for me to ever get in shape, why would I ever start working out, right? If I knew, or if I believed that if I go to the gym 365 days in a row, which I wouldn't recommend because you'd have to rest, whatever. If I go to the gym 250 days out of the year, I'm not going to get a lick more healthy. I'm going to stay the same. If I believed that, I would never go to the gym, right? I would just, my health's not going to change. I might as well just chill at home. And that's what happened. When I was in my early 20s, I believed there was no point in going to the gym because I had an amazing metabolism at that time. It didn't make any difference. I wasn't gaining or losing weight. I was staying the same, and I was healthy. I really was. It didn't matter. I was like one of those kids with just an insane metabolism. Until it was about 25 or 26. I went to Rite Aid one day with my girlfriend at the time, and we took our blood pressure, and I had high blood pressure, and I kept on trying it in the machine, and it kept on coming back saying I had high blood pressure. I went to the doctor. I had high blood pressure. I'm like, how's that possible? I'm only 26. All right. So I realized that, you know, I needed to change that. And I realized the reason why I wasn't working out was because, I just fundamentally didn't believe that I could ever get back in shape, and and also that it wouldn't be worth anything. Basically, the two opposite beliefs. You should like always ask yourself what you believe about something. What stories are you telling yourself about the thing, you know? And one story I'm telling myself is that this is not worth my time, which people do that all the time. Dude, I guarantee you, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say guarantee. I need to be careful about sounding so certain about things because I'm not actually certain about anything that I'm saying. I'm just, these are things I believe very strongly, but they are not proven fact. I think I'm right though. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. I have ADD. Look, if you're having trouble improving in music or improving in life or whatever, I believe it's because of one of two beliefs. A, you fundamentally don't believe in the power of the thing that you're doing. Or B, you don't believe in yourself on some level. That's what I think. Because if you believe in these two really believe in these two things, you're gonna excel. If you believe in the importance of the thing that you're going for, right? If I have deep reverence for music, if I have deep reverence for practice, and I believe in the process, that's a great cliche. If I believe and I trust the process of practice and I believe it's going to work, and then B, I believe in my ability to carry it out, and I have high self-esteem, then I'm going to do it. Then after that, it's just eliminating anxieties that stem from those beliefs. That's what I think. Stem from those beliefs or lack thereof, for that matter. Anyway, what made me get in shape was I had to believe in the process. Like I remember thinking, because here's the thing, I would work out, all those years that I wasn't exercising regularly. When I would work out, I would, if it was like, oh man, I'm going to go for a run, I would go out and I'd try to run 3 miles, even though I hadn't run all year, poop out after a half mile, and then walk home, lungs burning, legs sore, and feeling like a loser, telling myself, I knew I couldn't do this. I am a loser. I'll never get in shape. Damn. Like, just feeling dejected, and then piling all these negative narratives on top of other pre-existing already negative narratives. What are the odds I'm going to keep that going? How is that sustainable? And then when I was 26, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the advice of what I tell my students, which is you got to believe in yourself, which is kind of the answer to this question. How do you start acting like the person you aspire to be before you believe it? You just got to start believing in it, because, or maybe you don't need to believe that you are the thing yet, but you need to believe in your ability to become it, for sure. That is imperative, because without that, first off, you're wrong. Barring believing you can learn to fly and things that are physically impossible, you should believe in your ability to become a good musician. You should just believe in that, because I think we all can do it. I really do. I feel like someone's calling me right now. Oh my God. This is my sister. Answer it. Hello.
Bath, Anita.
To accept, press
What?
1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Wait, what? Hello?
This is a message for Kiefer Shopford. This is
Stop it.
your doctor.
My doctor?
Doctor speaking. Yes, we got your results back from your poop samples.
Well, I'm really glad that anyway, so what I was saying was, right, you got to believe that you could be a good musician. That is something that you can just do. I think anyone can do it. It takes a lot to believe in that. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm going to call my sister back because that was hilarious. Here we go. Unbelievable. Hey Siri, call Emily Shackelford. Sorry, I had to hang up on her for the sake of the bit. I thought the bit was so good if I just hung up and pretended that it didn't happen. Dude, the hanging up. Emily, I'm in the middle. I cannot wait for you to see that.
Wait, that was live?
This is live.
I can't believe you answered. I was going to leave a message. I was going to be like, hi, this is a message for Kiefer Shackelford. This is your doctor at the hospital. We got your poop sample.
I know, I heard that part.
What? That was live?
Dude, when you said it was live, the way that you laughed uncontrollably over the word poop sample, like, dude, you couldn't even get through it. Dude, the level of immaturity is astounding. Also, immaturity and also like poor execution. Like, you're just laughing uncontrollably. Emily. When you see it, I just hang up and just keep talking as if that phone call didn't happen. Also, I told everyone before I answered, I said, this is my sister's phone number. I'm going to answer this.
No.
So I'm like, this is my sister. And then you like poop sample, and then I just hang up and keep going.
Oh my God. I was going to say, you have a rare disease called smells like shit.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up on you again. Be careful.
Okay, I won't.
No, I'm not gonna. This is, oh my God.
God.
I knew I was gonna get a prank call. By the way, one of these voicemails I'm about to read, and I'm gonna sell this back to the camera so people feel included. Because I'm just talking to my sister now, but no, there's definitely another prank call. There's this guy, and it's so obvious that he's not. It's like he's trying to sound like a person, but he's not. It's like obviously one of my friends. I just can't figure out who it is.
Oh, so they're better at prank calls than me, is what you're saying.
Theirs wasn't that funny though. Yours was really funny. But also because you just your poop sample? Are you kidding me?
Do doctors even do that?
Not without me giving them the sample first.
Oh my god, I'm crying. I cried. That was so funny to me.
My fucking
what are you
God.
doing now? Are you making the podcast right now?
This is you. I'm recording the podcast right now. This is all making.
Hi, everyone.
Everyone say hi to Emily. Say hi to Emily in the comments. Okay,
Wow.
well, I'm gonna keep going, but I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. Get back to work and take care of yourself, honey. Okay, bye.
All right, bye, Em. Good Lord. Anyway, yes, you need to believe in your ability to do something in order to do it. That's what I think. Because if you don't believe in your ability to do it, why would you do it? Why would I, right? If I think going to the gym is not going to result in me improving my health, I'm never going to run on the treadmill every day. And then also, anyway, so basically the story is, I wanted to get back in shape, and I knew in order to do that, I needed to start small and, start building up confidence and proof. Dude, amass proof. You need to amass evidence that you are this thing. And yeah, so I remember I bought some running shoes. Day one, buy some running shoes. Step two, take a walk with running shoes on. I could do a whole bit about that. I just put on my running shoes. I just walked around the block every day for a week. I'm serious. And I was disciplined. I didn't go above that. I said, I'm only going to do exactly what I set out to do. Instead of doing this old tactic of running 3 miles and then when I get home, cursing myself and calling myself a loser, instead, I'm going to make a habit of doing what I set out to do, be successful every single day, come home with a little extra energy, and when I walk through that door, I'm going to celebrate and say, hell yeah, I'm doing this thing. I'm committed to this thing. I'm making this habit. I am this thing. And then, dude, you shouldn't push yourself before the confidence is there. You need to, develop that first, that feeling that, yeah, I am this thing, That's the most fundamental thing. It's fundamental. It's the foundation. It's on the bottom. Okay. Once you have that, yeah, then you push yourself. Then you go crazy. But I didn't even have that. I had no self-esteem when it came to my physical health at that time. I did not believe in myself at all. Anyway, after a week of literally just walking, then I start running for 1 minute. Then I start running for 2 minutes, right? Little by little by little. 6 months later, I'm running 20 miles a week. Okay. That's long story short. But there was a mindset flip that happened I would say about 2 weeks in, where instead of the old way where I'd try to run 3 miles, only make it a half mile and poop out, and then curse myself and tell myself I'm a loser, the opposite happened where I'm doing what I set out to do. I'm doing it every day, consistently. It's only maybe a quarter mile to a half mile the first week or so. But once I walk through that front door, I'm chomping at the bit to go run tomorrow. Because every day I'm thinking, I could do more than that. So now that's not how you work out long term. You do have to push yourself past the point of what's comfortable. But that first step of your mind has to feel confident. Your mind has to believe. This is very remedial stuff. But I did not have that, So that's how I would answer your question is, if you want to start acting like the identity you aspire to have, but you don't feel it in your heart yet, dude, start amassing evidence. in really small ways, proving that you are this thing. If it's running a half mile every day, then working it up to a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles until it's like boom, but start thinking of small ways to do it. That's what I would say. Write down the, like what I was saying last episode, write down the to-do list for, the person you aspire to be. That doesn't mean, for example, if I was playing basketball and I wanted to be like LeBron James, that doesn't mean I need to start working at the gym 8 hours tomorrow, but it means I do need to go to the gym. I do need to take jump shots. I do need to like lift weights and watch tape, but maybe it's not 2 to 3 hours of each. Maybe it's just 15 minutes of each, right? You start off in smaller pieces, but the most important parameter is consistency. You don't miss a day. You do what you set out to do and you don't miss a day. Okay. Hell yeah. Let me see if let me do one more. Let me do one more of these. This is from JP, I believe. Is this from JP? Is this the JP one? Yes, it is. Here we go. Let's hear it.
What's up, Kiefer? I'm JP from LA. I don't know if this is considered cheating, but I'm going to ask 2 questions, if that's okay. The first question is, what is your biggest fear? And my second question is,
biggest fear, good Lord.
What are the chances of you listening to my new demo once I finish it? Thank you so much. Kiefer, I love you. Kiefer, I love you.
Love the sign off there. Shout out JP. Thanks so much for the call, JP. As far as hearing your demo, I'm afraid. I'm afraid it's. I don't know if I'll be able to hear it. You can send it to me. I do get a lot of DMs. I'm not saying that to be pretentious, but I do get a lot of DMs, and it is kind of hard for me to keep up with everyone. But send it to me. Send me the link, and if I do see it, although my DMs are maelstrom, I will give it a listen if I do see it. What was I saying? Or what was the other thing you said? Oh, right. Biggest fear. To be honest, let me see. What is my biggest fear? I actually don't know. I heard this message last night. I started thinking about it. I actually don't know. Let me see. I'm afraid of... I want to be accepted, dude. I want to be accepted by my friends and family. I think it's a pretty normal fear to be lonely or not connected in some way. I'm also afraid of not being productive, not being effective, actually. I want to be effective. I want to be a person in society that is effective, that does something. And I'm also afraid of dying. I am a hypochondriac. I think those are normal. But yeah, I think they all lead to places that are not ideal. Number one, if you're always seeking the, to be accepted and validated constantly by people around you, it's that can affect your self-esteem for sure. It kind of turns you inward, and maybe a little, sometimes I can be a little too self-focused, especially with my career. Look at me, I'm doing a fucking podcast first thing in the morning. That said, I think this is actually a good iteration of that. Although I don't think this is as much driven by a desire to be accepted as it is by the second one, a desire to be effective. I think that's a good anxiety to have, but just not to the degree which I have it sometimes, which can lead me to be a workaholic for sure. I definitely every single day am thinking about work a little too much. That has fluctuated a little. No, it is not. That is a damn lie. I've been a workaholic since I was 24, 25. Yeah, 25, that light switch came, no, 24. Yeah, 24, that light switch came on, and it did not turn off. And I do, at this age, now that I'm in my 30s, I do want to chill on that at some point. I need a new tribe, dude. I don't want to get rid of my old tribe. I just need a new one, right? I need to be in a tribe of people that are a little more at peace. That's not to say that my old tribe is not at peace. I just need a different kind of peacefulness, one that is not based around passion and work, but one that is based around just living, dude. You know, I'm surrounded by monsters, man. And but you need balance. You need different kinds of interactions, different kinds of people in different phases of your life. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not. This is not. I really do not mean to compare my old friend group with maybe some new people I'm trying to, integrate into my life. That's not what this is about. But I do want to be more peaceful in general because I am a bit of a workaholic. Not even a bit. I am a lot of a workaholic. And then the third fear I mentioned was, what was it? God, I'm tired. Oh, I wanted to talk about that. Never mind. Need of validation was number one. Fear of not being effective. I can't even remember. What did I say? Must not be that big of a fear if I can't even remember it. Did I have another one? Oh, dying, dude. I'm a hypochondriac for sure, dude. I mean, that might be my main one. Strange enough. Yeah. That's just always been there. But I think that's a different kind of fear. That's like a physical thing for me because I've always had a weird brain chemistry. It's a little different, and my body is just pumping adrenaline in at all times. I know I come off as very relaxed, but this is something I have learned to do through therapy over many years to like move slower, relax your body physically, because my body is just pumping stress hormones and adrenaline at all times. That's just been the case since I was little. I remember being extremely anxious just my whole life, and not for any particular reason. Someone's calling me right now. Do I recognize this number? I do not. So yeah, I think that's been my biggest challenge. It's just like being uncomfortable. I've always had like just uncomfortable all the time. My entire life, I've always been a little uncomfortable. It's gotten better, for sure, with like therapy and different things. But dude, I've always had really bad anxiety, and I've always there have been a lot of conscious things that I need to work on for sure to get it to a place that's good. But ever since a very young age, I've always felt, I always knew that there was like a physical thing for me, that my brain just has different chemicals or a different balance of chemicals than my friends. That's just always been the case. I live a very neurotic life. Anyway, I don't know if this is TMI. I went really deep today, talking about some personal stuff. I'm going to have my first guest tomorrow. If he follows through, we're going to have Jacob Mann tomorrow. Jacob Mann, truly one of my favorite keyboard players. So I'm extremely excited about that. And we're going to talk piano, and we're going to talk music and life and whatever. And he's funny, and he's a genius. So please make sure you pull up tomorrow. Until then, thanks so much for tuning in to episode 2 of Approachable Music Season 3. And looking forward to more stuff soon. Take care, everybody. Be encouraged. Talk soon. Peace.